how important was it for you to, because many people is not aware that the sense of identity of Lithuania was in danger before World War II. Could you explain a little that period and why did you want us to know about it?
No, I don't really treat it as a historical film in a sense. I mean, this period, it somehow resonates a lot with the present. I only think there is a reason to make a period piece if it tells something about present. I don't like when films talk about the past as if it would be something that ended already, something that does not touch us today. And I think that late 30s in Lithuanian context are important for what we live today. For a small country as this, I mean, I'm sure that general audience and in bigger countries might not be aware of this, as you say, omnipresent existential threat, if you may call it like that. But I think in a smaller countries or countries that live on the boundary, on the margins of world history, that do not directly impact it, but become an object of important events, kind of understand this feeling. And late 1930s seemed to me a relevant period when I finally found or was trying to decide which part of this huge life of this geographer, who is a real human being, I wanted to portray in the film.
Let me ask you, I know you directed a few shorts in the past. How much does that experience help you to narrate a movie like this? It's a complicated story and there are many elements, but I guess your experience with the short films were like a school for you in a way.
Yeah, you're right, because I have no other school besides my short films. I mean, cinematic school. I did other things at the university, and those short films, every single film I make is a new school for me, you know. So of course every single film contributes to at first I just learned basics, then I start discovering something deeper. How can I use the tools, the cinematic tools, how I can combine them all together. And but with a feature, when it's a first feature, I think you still experience this kind of, before you were swimming in a pool and suddenly you fall into an ocean where you don't see shores, and you just need to somehow use your gut feeling to find the path. Where's the shore and how not to drown,
But you can always use like protection, a little help from the pool.
Absolutely. Yeah, you kind of dive with some rubber things underneath your armpits,
Yeah. And what about, why did you decide to tell the story visually in black and white? I think it works really well, but I would like to know why.
There are certain motives. Some of them are more, let's say, conceptual. Some other reasons are very simple. So conceptually, I think if you lessen number of colors, if you basically limit yourself to those two colors, you need to be more inventive in the usage of them too. I mean, you only have two pencils, so you think, okay, I cannot hide myself under colors. You pay more attention to, I don't know, chiaroscuro, the lights, the darkness, how they play in the film, how they emphasize the emotional state of the characters, etc., etc. So it's nice always. I prefer minimalize the tools and then try to figure it out. What do I do with the minimum amount of them? But there was also a very pragmatic reason, because it's my first feature film, so I could gather only a limited budget for this film, and it's a period piece, a period which, at least in Lithuania, we don't have many, props and other things that we can use in the film, and all the sets were basically authentic. So the locations that we used for the film, and we could not redecorate or build anything anew. It was only a very little of intrusion. So in black and white, you don't see things as much as you would see in color, or color when you can choose just random shades of gray. They don't cost as much as a choice of color would cost. I mean, if I would want yellow instead of gray, might be that would double a price of a prop, of a thing. But in this case, we sorted out cheaper.
Also, I think black and white transports you into a different. You interpret the movie in a different way. I love black and white. I think that differently.
Yeah, there is this feeling attached to us as viewers. Whenever we see black and white, it is already, somehow brings us a bit back into something, back into past. Black and white as the two colors of documentary footage, archival footage, yeah, that also exists for sure.
And so you're campaigning, okay, the film, you did some virtual touring with the movie, like for festivals?
And we were happy enough to do the festival circuit before this whole worldwide pandemic started. So only the end of the circuit was already virtual. I could not travel that much as the film traveled, just because I had a small child and would prefer staying home. But the film managed to go around pretty much. And then when pandemia started, it was shown on Mubi for a couple of months. So it managed to go around.
In Los Angeles, Hollywood is starting the award ceremonies, and are you campaigning for Golden Globes? Let's say, would it be important for you to campaign for Golden Globes?
Speaking sincerely, I'm not thinking about these things. Me sitting here at almost 8 p.m. in Vilnius, Los Angeles is so far away. And what I'm concentrating myself on now is actually a new script. But for sure, we have a team, like reliable people who are doing what, everyone shares the responsibility. So I try to do what I need to do, to do the directorial and screenwriting things. But of course, the film itself, people are trying to do the best they can with the film.
So maybe we will see you in April for the Oscars, maybe.
Hopefully, if it opens up. As for now, here it doesn't seem that promising. April as well seems as far as Los Angeles, But every single week it changes. So hopefully, maybe.
It's true. It's complicated. I was wondering, did the pandemic affected the film itself, the expansion of the film internationally, or not?
Maybe vice versa, I would say, because people were forced to sit back at home, and what they could do, they could open up these platforms, the VOD platforms, so maybe more people watched it internationally as if they would, because at least I noticed that, let's say, the reach of Mubi is fantastically big in comparison to what you get in festivals, when you're traveling throughout the festival circuit. So I think it helps actually, because certainly certain audiences could not watch it because certain festivals just did not happen. But I wouldn't say it somehow limited us the outreach of the film.
I read very positive reviews of the film. Well, I saw the film, then I read reviews. And do you care about reviews or not?
Of course I do. Of course I do. Uh, I mean, I think it's this symbiotic relationship. People write reviews, directors wait for their reviews, then you make a new. It's normal. I mean, I care about them, but not about them being positive or not. I care about them whether people understand what I'm trying to say or not, whether people hear what I'm saying, whether people try to grasp what is there in the film, or they make I don't know, some superficial judgment, etc. So that's why I even when it went online on platforms, I was even typing the title of the film into Twitter and just checking out what people were talking in different countries, Google translating some Kurdish discussion about what they think about the film and whether people in different countries understand, actually, because I think the film still bases pretty much on the local context, and I understand that there is also a bit of a requirement to know at least basic historical facts, and I wanted to check out whether the knowledge or lack of knowledge of them disturb you watching the film, disturb understanding what's happening in there, So yeah, I've been following what was being said about it.
Yeah. So you were saying that you wanted to make a film that it was a contemporary story as well. That you're not a historian, you're a filmmaker. So what is the situation in Lithuania now in terms of national identity and safety, in terms of nobody invading Lithuania?
Yeah. I mean, while I was preparing the film, it took me several years for sure. So certain things happened around us, the Russian invasion in Ukraine, and now that for last half a year, there is this Belarusian uprising against Lukashenko happening. So constantly around yourself, let's say they opened up a new nuclear power plant, just 30 kilometers from Vilnius. We can almost see the towers of them. After Chernobyl, everyone is worried, and you kind of constantly get the ringing of this bell here. Although inside of the country, people tend to sometimes even not pay attention deliberately, so that you wouldn't be passing the whole of your time just thinking about what if that stops you from living. You cannot do that. But maybe my generation, I still have, let's say, shallow memories of the beginning of what was the ending of the big empire that we were for 50 years in it. And I think for a lot of people that this general feeling whether we can take this country for granted or not is still present in their minds, in their souls, in their hearts. I mean, and in the film, I just chose to show a period where this country was almost beginning to become a granted thing for the people that live in. And just as it was about to happen, it stopped. It disappeared from the map of geographical map, political map. So yeah, I mean, I think at least in Lithuania, people watch the film differently than maybe they would watch in a bigger country that never thinks about disappearing from the surface of the earth,
No, I hope that doesn't happen.
I mean, I'm maybe, just verbalizing too much, but I think, I mean, it is present for sure.